So this is the iPad Pro 11-inch M4, and today we're going to take a look at the iPadOS 18 Beta 1. Are you wondering about iPadOS 18 Beta 1? You're wondering what is coming to this? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about it here, starting off with the space. First of all, this is the dev beta. You could see right there, developer beta. It's 6.98 gigabytes to download, so it's a sizable update. So to confirm the build number for this video, we're looking at iPadOS 18 22A528M, so very good there. So we're decent on that. Let's take a look at the front of the iPad and see what's popping. So first of all, you could see I have the dark mode icons enabled. If you've seen the iOS 18 beta, it's not much different here. There is new dark mode icons. All right, so I always like to start my videos by looking at the new and included wallpapers. And I want to talk about a few iPads that are getting this update. iPad 7th gen or later, that's the base ones. The iPad mini 5th gen or later, iPad Air 3rd gen, also iPad Pro 11 1st gen and newer. In addition, iPad Pro 12.9 3rd gen or later. Now, if you want to use the Apple Intelligence later this fall, you're going to need to use the M1 CPU. But taking a look at the wallpapers, there's like 4 different colors. This is the new wallpaper. There's a blue, there's a green right there, and then there's also a purple to the left and an indigo all the way to the left. So there's multiple colors. Now, if you turn on the dark mode here, they also change for that dark mode. So let's see what purple looks like, indigo. Really nice. They're pretty nice. At least they gave us a decent wallpaper here, and it looks a little bit different than the iOS one. The iOS one has a couple different colors, so it's a little bit of a difference there. Right, so let's talk about the number one new feature. You probably notice it right down here. That is the calculator. Finally, Apple's own official calculator to the iPad experience. Now, this is a major deal because you've been having to download calculators on iPads for years. Now you don't have to. Also, not only that, when you do calculations on the iPhone and on the iPad, they actually show you the calculations that you're doing like a proper calculator. You hit the equal sign, you could see above here what you just calculated, and then you'll see right there. Click over here to the left and you now have history on here. So Apple finally added the features that we really want. Now this is going to increase productivity, obviously, and you don't have to deal with ads on the calculator, but they took it one step further with math notes. So if we go here, you can use markup with Apple Pencil, and you can actually do equations on here, like 150 divided by 3 equals 50. You see right there? Or 65 times 6 plus 3 minus 2 equals 391. So there you go. So you do have that ability. Now, I have a feeling like people are going to use this for productivity, but some students might use this to potentially cheat. So I wonder if there's going to be some bans on this in certain classrooms, which you can see, there you go with the scientific calculator as well. If you turn into the landscape right here, let's go ahead and do that. You can see it's also a very wide and nice calculator. So this is going to be incredibly useful to students and productivity people alike, or people just like to do a lot of calculations on their iPad. All right, so the customizing the home screen. We've seen this on the iOS, but here on the iPad, you have even more space to move things around. So I think it could be potentially even more useful on the iPad here. And I know you're going to say, well, why don't you just grab multiple apps at a time like this? But I actually didn't do that because earlier when I was trying that out, it kept crashing to grab multiple apps. But you can do it like that as well if you would like. I'm still going to move one over at a time right now just to put it exactly where I want it. But you can see you could put these applications anywhere you want. So that's super customizable. Also, if you hit over here, you click in the top left corner, hit edit, you can customize down here and you could have dark, light mode icons or automatic switching. But the big deal is the tint, because now you can tint it however you would like. I also wanted to mention there's a little color picker over here that'll grab the color right from the wallpaper you're using, so you can really match this up in a very clean fashion. I really do like that. You can also bump these icons up to be definitely a bit larger if you would like to do that, and you can grab your own tint color however you would want. So it's a really nice customization option that came this year. Personally, I'm not a fan of those super large icons, but I could see how some people will be. So let me go ahead and just showcase this. And then let me go ahead and flip it over into the portrait mode. So you could see, there we go in portrait. Also, keep in mind that the control center has been redesigned as well. So if we go ahead and take a look at the control center, you'll see not only is it redesigned, if you click this plus button, you can actually resize these in here, and you can go ahead and add a bunch of controls as well. Let's go ahead and add screen mirroring. And I believe it looks about the same as the iPhone. You'll have multiple pages if you want to continue adding more and more controls. So I think that's the max there. Let's go ahead and add another one like timer, for example. I think that was already in there. And if you see, no, it wasn't. So you can see right there, now you have a new page where you're going to add more. So if you want to add a ton of controls, you're going to go into a second page. But what's nice is that they're resizable right there. Now, somebody asked me in my iOS video, can you turn off Bluetooth Wi-Fi right from here? No, you actually still have to go into settings to fully turn it off, but still similar toggles right there. So on the home screens, it's still pull from the left for notifications, pull for the right for the control center right there. So that's decent. Let's go ahead and turn it back into the landscape mode right here. And you'll see once you come in the landscape, it's still over there. And then if you come over here, it'll be for notifications. I also wanted to mention, if you do go ahead and turn on the dark mode here, let's turn on dark mode. You see how all the icons change. That's pretty nice. And I've been loving this at nighttime. I've been using the iOS at nighttime, and it's been incredible. If you click dark here, and then you click this little like icon right here for like lightness, it actually gets even darker. So that's a cool little touch. You can see definitely a little bit darker. So if you really want to be in a dark mode, you can add that feature right there. So I'll just put it back in automatic, but I just wanted to mention that. Now also on the home screen, you can resize widgets without having to go into the widget section itself. And look how massive that became. You can go ahead and do things like that if you want. In addition, if you go into, well, we're going to go back into this application right here. You can actually add widgets straight from the app itself in different size formats, small, medium, large. Let's do a medium one, and boom, you could turn that app straight into a widget straight from the home screen. So we'll remove that widget, and now you see it remove news. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring news back out here. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention. Resizable widgets on the home screen would happen to go into the widgets, and then you could actually add the widgets straight from the app. Pretty neat new touch there for iPadOS. All right, so now that we're in settings, you'll notice that they cleaned up the settings here. So they actually made things more legible here. When we go into accessibility, you'll see they have these little information notes that show you the big icon and tell you exactly what this does. It also shows that in Bluetooth as well. So if you want to go ahead and do that. And then in addition to that, if you scroll down here into apps, you'll see that we have a ton of apps in here, but at least they're categorized in the apps section. So overall, settings got a nice cleanup here overall as well. So I'm pretty happy with the settings department. They did a good job here. It looks a lot cleaner, a lot more compacted down than before. So on the home screen, you can also lock and hide apps. So if you want to lock and hide the passwords, you'll go ahead and hit require Face ID. Let me go ahead and do that. And you'll see I require Face ID. So now if I click passwords, you cannot get into my passwords without Face ID. So that makes it a double step process. Now I haven't seen an ability to actually hide them exactly yet, but when you are able to do that, it's going to be in the hidden folder over here. That's where you'll be hiding your apps. And somebody mentioned in the comments, they said, well, if you're putting it in a hidden folder and I could see your hidden folder, that defeats the purpose. Well, not really, because you would have to use Face ID to get into the hidden folder. So it's still kind of like double locked. I get what you're saying though. On Samsung devices, for example, when you hide stuff, it's completely invisible. They should probably add that though in a future update. Maybe I'll send that out as a beta note to Apple to see if they can do that. All right, so I'm not going to showcase all my photos in here, but you can see they redesigned the photos gallery. You have a new carousel as well as trips right here. We'll show you memories, and they just kind of clean things up. You can also search and filter out things from your photos a lot easier than before. So the Photos app gets a major redesign this year. However, what didn't get a major redesign was the Files application. So there was really nothing super added here to the Files section. So I really wish that we could get some upgrades to the Files app, make it a little bit more like the Mac OS. But overall, you know, it's decent. It still does the job. It's just Files didn't see any major changes here to iPadOS 18 just yet. Okay, so the iMessage gets the same features that we've seen in the iPhone. So you're going to go ahead and go here and you'll see we have the new send later right here. So you can send things later. You can go ahead and click that. And when you click that, it's going to ask you which time do you want. You click right there. And then you'll see you have the ability to change the time and when you send it. So that's going to be neat, especially if you use iMessage. I'm not sure everyone does, but if you do, it could be useful for you there as well. You also get the text effects. So let me go ahead and type something in. Hey, what is up? And then if I go ahead and highlight something here, let me go and highlight. You can see right there, text effects. You can add some new text effects right here to really enhance that experience. And then on the tap back features, you can add basically any emoji you want on there. And then if you have an iPad with the M series, you'll get the Genmoji, the ability to create custom emojis and add some AI generated images as well on here. So it's going to have a built-in image generator. So really, really nice upgrades to iMessage. Also, RCS support will be coming later this year, but I'm sure a lot of those features are still going to be kind of proprietary to iMessage, but at least the Android phones will play better and Android tablets will probably play better with the iPad this year, just like they did with the iPhone. All right, so another new feature is game mode. So if you launch a game, the game mode icon will appear up here and you could turn it on or off. What it does is it basically minimizes background for increased performance while you are playing. So when you start playing a game, you should have enhanced performance, better cooling, and all that stuff when you are gaming on a device. So definitely I would say it's a really good experience upgrade, because you don't need to be using stuff in the background when you're trying to focus on a game. You need the best performance, and the iPad is going to provide that for you this year with the game mode. Also, it reduces latency on the AirPods, and you do have better wireless controller support. So if you use your PS5 remote or your Xbox One remote, it will also be a smoother experience this year for iPadOS. So I'm further increasing the gaming a little bit, even though it still doesn't have a lot of AAA titles. They still have a lot of graphically intensive games you might not find on something like an Android tablet. It's just pushing them a little bit further in the gaming department if you do a lot of gaming on your iPad. So we also have redesigned tab bars here. You can see they're now at the top. They float up at the top away from the content. I mean, this is a small redesign, but it definitely kind of keeps it out of the way. Allows you to zone in more on what you're reading, but you'll probably forget about that after a couple of days of using the new iPadOS. So that's just something new to keep in mind. A lot of applications will support that as well, especially if you use a lot of the Apple-based applications. You'll see those new tab bars. All right, so I'm trying to unlock my passwords app and I'm getting a very big bug. And I want to show this on camera because I want to show you. I'm glad we were able to capture that bug on camera to showcase to you why you should wait for a few betas to come out before downloading the initial one if you want perfect performance. This still performs great for me so far, good enough day to day, but there has been several bugs already that have hindered a little bit of the experience. So if you are in a flow, this is going to mess you up. If it's a side project, like I have the 13 iPad M4 as well, so I was able to install it on here without it messing with my workflow. But if you're in a zone, this could really mess you up. So I would wait if you want better performance. But the Passwords app is also a new experience here. You can easily fill and save, secure encryption, and seamless syncing. Essentially, all this is going to do is store all of your passwords, kind of like a LastPass app, a Bitwarden app, you know, stuff like that. What is this? Dashlane? I don't know what it's called. The other one. There's multiple versions of these password apps out here, but Apple's trying to eliminate the need for one of those by keeping everything in your ecosystem nice and stored securely. So I kind of like this. I actually do. I just think that if you use devices outside of the Apple ecosystem, this is another lock-in effect. But if you're in the Apple ecosystem, all your products are Apple ecosystem, this is probably going to be the best choice, honestly. And now it eliminates the need for another app to manage. So within the Freeform app, it also gets better. They have the ability to add scenes now. You'll have better diagramming as well on here, better connecting of shapes and things like that. So if you like to draw and you're doing a lot of note taking within the Freeform application, this can be an incredible update for you as well. It's refinements, but of course, if you spend a lot of time in this app, it's going to be a good update for you. Also, the math notes, they work in Apple Notes as well here now. So if you are taking notes, but you want to do some math stuff within Apple Notes with the Apple Pencil, it also works here in Apple Notes now. So do keep that in mind. So I'm here in Apple Notes and I say, hey, 1 + 1 =, I'll hit solve and it'll show you right there. So if you are jotting down notes, but you need to do a little math on the side, it's all kind of integrated in here. Also, when the Apple Intelligence does become available, you'll be able to generate images right within Apple Notes as well, which is going to be a nice new game-changing feature for those of you who want to stay focused in on one app, but you don't want to leave to go grab images. It could be a very helpful touch, but that's coming later. All right, guys, so if you go into settings here, accessibility also brings a brand new feature, eye tracking. This was also brought to iOS 18, but you'll have it here as well. And the ability to kind of track your movements with the eye will be useful here for the iPadOS 18. For some reason, I don't know why I can't swipe out with the Apple Pencil. Like, I should be able to swipe the home bar with the Apple Pencil. Let me know if that's a feature I didn't turn on or something. But that's something to note. That is a nice new touch to have eye tracking, especially if you need hands-free usage. All right, so within Apple Maps, you now have topographic hiking trail navigation. Pretty amazing if you want to use this, especially it'll probably be more useful on the iPhone, but it's still here if you want to see it prior to leaving out the house. You just want to see the hike, then just kind of sync it over to your iPhone, save it, whatever. But it's kind of cool. It'll show you like a little image of the hike you're doing and it'll tell you how much elevation, how long it is. This is pretty amazing if you ask me. And then because the iPhone has the satellite availability, you'll probably not even have any issues connecting to Apple Maps. You can also download it for offline. That'll be cool, but overall, really nice. You'll be able to see some hiking trails. I like that. I definitely like to do hikes myself and bike rides on trails and stuff. So this is going to be really, really fun to use, I would say. But for iPad, I probably would just use this to get a general idea and then sync it, save it, or airdrop it to my iPhone or something like that. But that's a new touch here in iPadOS 18. You can see they brought the new tab bar in Fitness Plus, but you also have the ability to search now, which is pretty cool. I'm personally not subscribed to Fitness Plus, but at the same time, if you want to use Fitness Plus a lot, or you do use it a lot, those are seeing some nice upgrades. Ability to search is one of the nice ones. And of course, a new tab, For You tab as well on there. So the new For You tab will kind of make things a little bit more clean for the ones that you like to work out with. So the upgrade in Apple TV Plus is that if you are watching something, you'll be able to see real-time actor and music information. So it'll give you a little bit of information when in the content. I'm not going to play any content, but when you are in the content, you'll be able to see that stuff right there. So that's a nice update to Apple TV Plus within iPadOS 18 Beta 1. All right, so let's get this elephant out of the room as well. For the people who are like, well, where's the pro changes? The stage manager, the ability to switch like a Dex-like mode. When's Apple going to bring something like that? They didn't bring it here. They just didn't. They didn't upgrade any of the pro stuff, and I was super disappointed at first because I felt like all they were upgrading was the tablet experience this year, and that's kind of what they did. They updated the iPad as the iPad. They didn't add anything pro really at all this year. No improved external monitor support, no improved Files apps, no improved ability when you attach it to a Magic Keyboard to kind of change the experience a little bit. Stuff I thought they were going to bring. I feel like their focus this year is on Apple Intelligence and the M4 kind of giving them the power to run that on iPad. The new iPhones are going to have a chip that gives them power to run the Apple Intelligence really well. And then next year, because we have all these powerful, super powerful products with AI, they'll bring the pro stuff to the iPad so you can run it like a little bit more computer-like. I think that's might be what happens. But if Apple wants to continue to keep the iPad separate from the Mac, that might not happen as well. But that's what I'm hoping happens. That's probably more like what I should say. It's what I'm hoping happens. But this is iPadOS 18. I think it's a really nice update, especially on the tablet side of the experience. Let me know your thoughts on iPadOS 18. Do you think it's really going to push it forward? Are you still like, I don't want an iPad, or I don't want to use it as a computer, I want to use it just as an iPad, and you love this or you dislike this? I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. And peace.